Hi, and I'm Virgie Rodriguez here with The Race of Your Own, where we talk about how inspiration leads to resilience or how resilience leads to inspiration. And I'm really excited about this week's guest. I have a Cuban rapper born in Cuba. He left Cuba with his family at the age of 4 and resettled in Southgate, Los Angeles. His debut album, Escape from Havana, was released on Capitol Records back in August of '89 and featured production from the Dust Brothers and Def Jeff. The single Mentirosa was released on March 9th in 1990, and it was a hit single that peaked at number 14 for the Billboard's Hot 100 charts. He was rapping over this really crafty hook over a Santana song, No One to Depend On in Evil Ways. He later recorded an additional album, The Brother with Two Tongues, and then eventually he released an album, From the Darkness into Light. He also has collaborated with his brother Sendog of the hip-hop group Cypress Hill, which he is a founding member of, which came out with an album back then called Ghetto Therapy. And he's also considered and known as the godfather of Latino rap, Mr. Mellow Man Ace.
Hey, thank you. That was a really nice intro. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Well deserved.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. It's good to be here.
Yeah.
It's good to be here. It's just good to be alive in general, you know, and it's a good time to see a lot of different things come to the light in this period of time that we're in right now. But I'm excited about life, and so here we are.
Yes, here we are. And we met at when Celia Cruz got her day here in Los Angeles back in October. And did a little interview there with you, and you seemed so touched by that day, because you considered her your tia.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know how a lot of us, we come from different countries, and we have to leave everybody back. Everybody can't come. And so when you get here, you start adopting people to be your cousin or your aunt. You're going to be my play aunt. You're going to be my play uncle.
Right.
I was fortunate enough to be able to call Celia my play aunt because of my aunt Weenie being her publicist on the West Coast.
Shout out Weenie. I love Weenie.
Oh, my gosh, she's amazing.
Love her.
She's amazing, and through her, she would put us together. Then eventually we'd go on tour together, and it was really surreal. I mean, growing up in the household with Cuban parents, hearing her records, growing up on the record player and all that, and then to one day here I am, like, on tour, opening up for her. Just, I mean, as a Cuban, for anybody, but as a Cuban especially, I should say, it was something that I wish my grandfather could have witnessed. You know what I mean? And so being that my grandfather is the start of the lineage of this entire thing. Excuse me. Okay. My brother Sendog, by the way.
Oh, okay. Shout out Sendog.
Hey, man, what you doing, man? Anyway, sorry, I thought I turned it out.
See what happens?
I thought I turned down the ringer.
It's all good. That's what happens. We do whatever. It's all right.
So, yeah, it was just like surreal, man. Good times. Going from playing the LA Sports Arena from here to Washington, D.C. and every place in between, and just owning it, being that dude, you know what I mean? Came a lot of responsibility.
Do you feel like you carry a responsibility with you as an Afro-Latino, as someone who got to work with Celia? That she is our queen. She's la reina. I mean, do you feel like you're taking something on more?
I feel more responsible of a person now than I did back then.
Right. You were having a good time.
I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was able to put the world on my hand at a very young age. I manifested at a very high decibel back then. I didn't handle it so well then, I have to admit. I think, being the poster child for anything Latino rap music at that time, I think the only ones were a General out of Panama, who basically created reggaeton music. And then you might have had like Vico C in Puerto Rico. I don't know how many others were on in Santo Domingo at that time.
They came later. Proyecto Uno, Sandy Papo, Ilegale, they came later. They were after you guys.
And so, from the States, it was me at that time. And it was, it was a big weight to carry. Sometimes I learned the meaning of be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. I really did.
Manifestation. You learned manifestation.
I did, but I didn't know how to curate that and how to handle the rest of it. Because I manifested to the point of, I want to blow up. I want to blow up. It's time to get paid. These were the phrases in hip hop. But no, there wasn't that, I want to blow up and curate that. There wasn't that finished ending. Like when you manifest, you want to be complete in the entire
you want to see the
process.
End goal. The end goal.
Right? Yes, I want to blow up. It's time to get paid, but I want to be able to curate it and keep it long term, hold on to it, nurture it. You know what I mean? Like, I forgot those other words, right? So it was something that fame I didn't like. I thought I would love it. And so it was a gift and a curse at that time. Mm-hmm. One thing I didn't like was when you're at the top of your game, you're only bringing home about 45% of your money. That's one thing I didn't like. You got, you're
like, I want 100% of my money.
You got your agent, 10%. You got your accountant, 10%. You got your manager, 20%. You got your lawyer, 20%. I mean, you really, and then we got our friends at the IRS. You know what I mean?
Of course,
and so,
you got to pay taxes, right?
And then we got family we want to help out and some things that we wanted to do. So that part I didn't like. The other part I didn't get used to very easily was being recognized in places I didn't want to get recognized in, like the grocery store, at the restaurant, when you're trying to eat and stuff like that. So now that I'm comfortable in my own skin, of course, as a man, as a grown man, I can say that, yes, now I love that part of it, and I know how to deal with it. I'm mature enough to understand why the people act a certain way when somebody walks in the room that has an energy and a certain light. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. And you're walking in it well. Because I will have to admit, I was just a kid when Mentirosa came out back in New York. Mm-hmm. And I remember of course, El General was all over the place, right? And that's what they were playing. And New York was all about freestyle music. It was like all of it. We were all freestyle. That's all we listened to. And if anything was in Spanish that was like pop music, it was freestyle music. Some of those freestyle singers. So when Mentirosa came out, I was like, who's this Puerto Rican guy from Bronx? Like, that's what I thought. Like, right. Before knowing the album, before knowing who you were, I was like, who's this new Puerto Rican artist from the Bronx? Like, that's where my head went. Sure. Because that's what it sounded like. It sounded like East Coast Latin hip hop, like what it would be, right? Because it didn't have a name at the time. No. Right? No. You made it, right? Like, you created it. Yeah. So then when I later found out when the album came out, Escape to Havana, and I was like, okay, he's Cuban. And then I was like, wait, he's West Coast? Yeah. I then started thinking about it. And I was like, and just recently, after even our interview, I was like, wait a second. Technically, that was like the first West Coast hip hop song I liked that I got into. Because then when I think about it, I'm like, to me, that's like the first, and there's probably more, I'm not like, I love hip hop music, period, right? Sure. But like Latin hip hop, West Coast wasn't a thing on the East. It wasn't. Right. It wasn't, because we were so heavy in all other artists that were East Coast, right? Yeah. So when that broke in New York, it was, to me, now thinking about it, I'm like, that was like the first Latin hip hop West Coast song that broke in New York. Sure. And we were all singing it. Everybody was singing it. Everybody loved it. You know what I mean? Because it reminded us of, I don't remember the name of the group. I saw you and him walking in the ring.
Orange Juice Jones.
Orange Juice Jones. So it was like a similar thing, but now it's in Spanish. So it's like, wait a second. He just flipped the whole thing, because we took to it. And at the time, I was in school. I was in elementary school in the Bronx. So it clicked for me. And I was just like, oh, yeah, who's this Puerto Rican guy from the Bronx? I didn't even, it was later that I found out. And I was like, oh, shit. I'm like, well, it's still a great song. I don't care. Right. Like, I was, and East Coast, West Coast stuff was like so heavy. And it was like, we didn't care, I
think that's one of the beauties of that record. Like, no matter what race of Latino you were, it spoke to you because, number one, it was the first record of its kind like that. And it, had some sort of Spanish to it that you can identify with, and you can say, hey, that's from my people. When up to that point, you really had, guys like Public Enemy yelling black and I'm proud, and you had others like that were screaming or being more about the Afrocentricity of it all.
And we took it in.
And we took it in as Latinos.
As Afro-Latinos, too, growing up in, like, New York and in Harlem and in the Bronx. Like, we took it as our own, a same struggle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys like KRS-One.
Yeah.
People like that. Maybe just a little bit later, you had the Poor Righteous Teachers.
Yeah.
Gangstar from the beginning was very Afrocentric.
And later, Tribe Called Quest.
And, of course, messages from the 5% Nation and whatnot. Like
Eric
that would seep through their messages and stuff like that. But for me, I think it was very important and part of my duty to keep it Cuban, keep it Latino, and keep it to the point to where, when you do a record like that and you're the first one of its kind, it's vital that it's understandable. If these record companies are investing money, I mean, we had records that were all Spanish that I did in '87 that were just right at you, like yelling and screaming. But in Spanish as well, like cuando llego a la casa esto es lo que pasa, pienso algo, and we yelling at you at that time, you know what I mean? And
little aggressive.
So, but the thing was, those records didn't turn the cash register like this other one, and we when we decided to keep it simple, more understandable, because we are using 2 different languages at this time. It was important to make sure it was digestible to the listener and to the consumer off the top rope. And even though you did have to watch the video to catch the subtitles on the opposite language, I think that was the beauty of it all.
For those of us speaking Spanish at home and then speaking English at school, it became part of you're mentirosa. It became a part of the lingo.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It became a part of our culture at the time. Being in school and that's how we spoke to each other through music.
Yeah, the other word that a lot of people caught on to on the record was skeezer.
Yes.
Yeah. And which is funny to me because guys like Houdini, were using the word often. And in their rhymes and whatnot. And that's kind of how, I learned how the hip hop was from the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like if you're going to do anything, you should do it according to the way it should be made and whatnot. And so, early on, borrowed a lot of what the East Coast was doing. So I'm watching.
Mm-hmm.
And even though we didn't have social media back then, what I would do was I would clip out newspaper articles or art magazine articles like Right On and Teen Beat and all these other things, and we'd clip them onto the wall in my bedroom. Or like when Funky 4+1 More appeared on Saturday Night Live, like we wanted the VHS tape that. That's kind of how we found out about who was who from 3,000 miles away.
Yeah.
And how to do this music correctly.
Right. Because you wanted to honor it, right, as the art form.
Not only that, but as a Afro-Cuban musician, my dad used to always say, like, si vas a hacer una música, la tienes que hacer completa como se debe ser. Si vas a cantar un son montuno, un son, un mambo, un cha-cha-cha, se tiene que ser, oye, pero tiene que ser un cuchillo. And so when you have a father like that, making sure that, you're listening to music correctly, and if you're going to do it and partake from it, then you better be it.
Right.
You better be good.
At the highest level, because especially out of Cuba, music, Afro-Cuban music is so specific, but it's also like everybody that I know who's a Cuban artist who plays an instrument and plays it well, like really well, because there's like this pride about it, because it's like there's cherishing the music, right?
And you want to add on to that lineage of all those greats that came before you. You definitely don't want to be sloppy by any means, and I take great pride in that.
Yeah. And so you left Cuba when you were 4, right? And you grew up in Southgate here in Los Angeles. You came to Southgate. As an early immigrant, as a child coming to the United States, how did that shape your voice and your identity? And then eventually, I guess like you're just saying, leading to hip hop, you kind of answered that, but, and becoming Mellow Man Ace.
Well, I think I remember specifically the day I came online as a human being. I was like 4 years old, 3 years old maybe, And I remember just coming through like a vortex. And all of a sudden I realized,
Where am I?
oh, that's my mom. And I knew how to say that for the first time, right? From then on, listening to and absorbing to what the culture around me was doing, because I'm here new from a new country, from a country. I didn't know anything. Neither did my brothers and sisters. We're all learning English at the same time, while still learning our Spanish from our parents. And so, as we started to go to school, we started to mix with other kids, black kids, Latinos, white kids, whatever, what have you. We're listening to what they're digesting. And I think those records from James Brown to, the Jackson Fives, a lot of family-oriented groups at that time. We're talking about the 1970s, the Brothers Johnson, the Isley Brothers, groups like that had family we really could identify with. And I think it was vital for us, because on Saturday morning we would just pretend like I'm on the keyboard, like on top of my dad's stereo, and my sister Myra was holding the broomstick like she's singing, right? And so we took all those records in. Aside from everything Pops was already playing, El Gran Combo and all those records, Celia Cruz, Oscar de Leon, and all these records, La Orquesta Aragon, all these things, of course, Benny Moré. Dad had a nice vinyl collection, so we hear that. But for some reason, as I'm growing up, I started to say to myself, like, that music is just a little too colorful, too,
You're like, I gotta make it cool, Dad.
Well,
I gotta cool.
I never told him that. I never told him.
But in your head,
in my mind,
yeah,
I was thinking that it'd be typical for me to be a salsero as a Cuban,
right?
And as I'm learning more about where I'm at, here comes this beautiful thing called hip hop. A little bit later on, as we now turn like 13, 14 years old, and now I'm really I'm thinking about leaving baseball to pursue this culture.
You play baseball too?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Of course, I'm Cuban.
Yeah, hello.
I can play baseball, roll tobacco, or play you an instrument. That's all we can do.
Right.
Okay?
And that's a Caribbean thing, though, too.
Right.
Because Dominicans, same thing. It's
Yeah.
like, how many Dominicans play baseball? Like, every single one.
From Jamaica to Haiti to Puerto Rico, you know.
Right. You're playing
Dominican
baseball, you're playing an
Republic.
instrument, and you're smoking tobacco.
That's it,
That's it.
So
Right.
I decided to start spinning on my back, and
Nice.
doing all that kind of stuff. So I started to really understand that and get to know as much as I could. Listen to records from Malcolm McLaren and the world's famous Supreme Team. People like the Africa Bambaataa,
Yeah.
the Furious Five.
Yeah.
All those records, the sequence, Funk You Right On Up, played a big part in the development of what would become Mellow Man Ace.
Mm-hmm. That's that was one of my next questions. You keep answering like the questions ahead of it, but it's were you thinking about representation and cultural authorship, at the time as you were going through all this? Like, I want to conserve.
No.
Okay.
No. And I'm being really honest. I'm being really honest with you. It wasn't until I heard this one record specifically on Sugar Hill Records. A group by the name of Mean Machine. Had a record called Disco Dream. In that record, there was a guy toward the end of the record, and he said, "Wepa, wepa, ahí nada más, y la gente de frente está caliente, wepa." And I'm like,
What is that?
oh my God, I want to be like that guy. I want to be that guy. He spoke to me direct, Later on, I would figure out his name was Mr. Schick. Of the Mean Machine. And after I got on, I would go to New York and I would go hang out with like the likes of, Red Alert in the studio with Red Alert, Uncle Red, people like Charlie Chase, people like that. We doing jams in the park in Brooklyn, and I would ask them like, yo, where is this guy Mr. Schick? Nobody knew. I'm moving a little bit ahead.
No, go for it. Go for it.
But the beauty of the story is that after the record blows up and I go all over the world and I'm constantly saying his name because this is how I learned, right? Fast forward 30 years, I do a Facebook post 4 years ago. And I just said, I want to thank my mentor, this guy by the name of Mr. Schick. Y'all will have never known who he was unless you heard this record. I want to give him his flowers. I don't know anything about him. I don't know where he's at, but I just want to pay my respect. The next morning, I get a DM from a kid named Julio Caro Rivera.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, are you serious, man? You talking about my cousin like that? And
Like
I'm like,
what?
your cousin? What you talking about, man? He goes, yeah, you talking about Mr. Schick. That's my cousin. Mind you, 30 years have gone by of me saying this man's name.
The power of social media, right? There you go.
I said, call me. Gave the guy my number. Call me right away. He calls me. I said, man, come on, man. You know how long I've been looking for this man? Don't tell me he's your cousin. Is he alive? He goes, yeah, he's alive. I said, well, where is he? He said, he's been living in South Carolina for the last
however many
years after they left the record company. I said, okay, I want you to call him right now. Give him my number. Have him call me. 30 minutes go by. The guy, he calls me. Now I'm in quiz mode. I'm going to quiz him. I want to make sure it's him.
Right.
I want to hear the rhyme. If
Right.
you can't kick the rhyme, I already
That's
know
not
it ain't
you.
true.
Right.
Right? And so, lo and behold, he does the entire rhyme. He's now 62 years old at this time.
Mm.
Gives me the breakdown as to what happened with Sylvia Robinson at Sugar Hill Records and why they got dropped off the label in 1982 or 3.
Wow.
They were asking for their royalties. Sylvia Robinson and them wasn't, trying to hear that. They had deductions over here. We put you on tour with this one, with that one. You owe us type of shit.
Wow.
So they got dropped off the label, and he got discouraged. And his parents moved to South Carolina, where he went to join them. And they opened, I believe, some bodegas and stuff like that.
Nice.
To this day, he's a good friend of mine.
That's amazing.
So here's what happens, though. He says to me on the phone, I don't know, but I woke up to over 600 messages based off what you did. I have offers galore. People asking me to be on this documentary, that documentary, come be on this podcast, go
That's
do that.
amazing.
And they want us to put the group back together and come out on the road based off what you did.
That's amazing.
I said, that's what I said. And he says, yo, bro, look, man. He calls me little bro. He's a little bro. Look, I'm coming to California. I don't rap anymore. I've been doing graphic arts for all these years.
Cool.
I'm coming to California, Palm Springs, to do a project for BMW. I said, I'll meet you there. Long story short, I brought my son so he could hold the camera and everything and really witness this whole thing, document it. Sure enough, he kicks the rhyme and everything, and we kicking it. It was just an amazing experience to finally meet a mentor that did so much for my personal life, Not only was I able to just do one little piece of Spanish rap like he did, I was able to do a whole record in Spanish and then add on more to the game when I did the bilingual stuff.
Yeah.
But he is the driving force of the inspiration. I remember how I felt when I first heard that record. So, long story short.
No.
Long story long.
Long story longer. It's stuff like that I feel like we don't hear enough, right? And if we're celebrating Black History Month, we're celebrating Afro-Latinoism, we're celebrating all of it. So to hear that stuff is just like almost we're documenting it here and and sharing it here. So other Latinos, younger Latinos, other younger Afro-Latinos, anybody that wants to have, I'm sure you'll be someone else's mentor. And, they look at you and go, well, I like what he did.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
And how far the culture has come. Because like I said, in New York at the time, it was El General, it was Vico C, it was Teco. Before Daddy Yankee even, right?
Sure.
And then, then the Dominicans came in and did it more with merengue, which we had Proyecto Uno.
Right.
And Sandy Papo and Ilegales, and so it just kept like building, right? And now to having one of the biggest artists perform at the Super Bowl, and it was in Spanish,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, wow.
I'm glad you mentioned Bad Bunny because when we first set out to do this, I remember I can speak for myself. In 1987, when I wrote my first single, I remember thinking, I hope that one day, Latinos get to the point to where we're doing these type of special things, and um, anybody really for hip hop, whether you were black, whatever, white, Jewish, whatever, Beastie Boys, whatever.
Right.
But as a proud Afro-Latino, I was thinking, I hope that one day this music that we doing transcends to the point to where we doing all this other stuff.
It's commercial.
And I'm not, like we did a lot of great things. I mean, the first Latino on Soul Train, Arsenio Hall, I did that. But there was still a higher plateau to reach. And I think the likes of the Bad Bunnies of the world, salute to that young man. He is a true manifestation of the things that we were able to, the foundations that we laid for future generations, we finally got there. And mostly, to me, I feel like a Martin Luther King type sometimes about it, because we were able to do those things, but yet not obtain them.
Right.
Yet we set the platform for you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For it to happen later, and I think now we're here at that day, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, yeah, and it's good to see. And like I had mentioned to you at Celia's day was, I had worked with Raul Mercado, who's a huge Afro-Latino who cornered the Latino market at the time with Celia. He managed Celia. He managed Tito. He was taking them. He did. He worked with Don King, and took them to Africa. And, which Dapper Dan, has talked about, has talked about, those were those times. But it was so, like you said, it was all salsa music. It was, we liked it because we were listening to it in our homes, but we always needed that little edge, right? So when hip hop came in and mixed with that, it like changed it for all of us. That's what I was saying.
Absolutely.
Like when I heard Mentirosa, I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
What's this? Who's this? It stood out because we wanted it. We did, and we loved hip hop, and we loved the music.
It was about time, absolutely.
So the synergy happened, and then now we're here. So
Now
we're here. We're here.
We're
And then
here. It took some time, but here we are. It's like the "I had a dream" speech. That's how I feel about it sometimes.
yeah, and you were a founding member of Cypress Hill. I think Cypress Hill
Absolutely.
was one of the other groups at the time that also they also transcended kind of like that East Coast West Coast thing.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like, oh, they're from the West Coast. It was never that. It was always
Yeah.
like. Again, I think at first I thought they were also from New York, and then I was like, they're also West Coast. Like,
Well, yeah, that's
there was like
they
this thing
shot
happening
one of
on
their-
the West Coast.
They shot one of their first videos in New York. How I
Yeah.
Could Just Kill a Man, and then
Yeah.
Q-Tip came through on accident that day. He happened to jump off the train and saw what was going on. Ice Cube was out there,
Yeah.
and so people had that. They had that vibration, like people. Then with the name Cypress Hill, we know that there's a spot in
Cypress Hill.
Brooklyn, a housing project out there that carries the same name. So it's like, and then my thing was always studying, Busy Bee and people like that, the Ram LZ, Mr. Schick, those early groups that just
Early New York
taught us how to
yeah.
party rock. Because you knew
Yes.
you had to, in my era, you still had to battle,
Right.
to get your name bubbling in the street. And so we would do that. We'd battle guys, and even in Spanish, English and Spanish. And we would like bring our own mics sometimes. Sometimes you couldn't get on
Right.
because we'd take our own mics away when we left, things like that. But knowing how to party rock, I think, is the first stage of it all. Aside from taking the courage to start writing, then you get into the battle stages, And I
Do you think that's lost now?
No, I mean, there's still ciphers where guys still go at each other and stuff like that. You just got to look for it.
Yeah.
But I think at that time,
It was the only way to
people
get
like-
on. Really? No.
Busy Bee, guys like that had this flair and pizzazz, the
Right.
all that stuff, and the L Brothers, Grand Wizard Theodore and all them, the way they did it, of course, who could forget Prince Whipple Whip,
Right.
Ruby D.
Ruby D.
Just come on, man.
Africa
this is how
Bambaataa
we
was
learned
like
how
the
to do it.
big one in New York. I felt at the time.
Right.
Africa
And I mean,
Bambaataa.
Planet Rock changed the way hip hop was being made at that time, with the storytellings of the likes of, like, the Grandmaster Flash, Melly Mel's style was very different from that of the Soul Sonic Force. And I think we learned back then to be unique and be different, not sound the same. That was a big deal back then, like to not bite the next man's style.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, biting is way different now with social media, for sure.
Well, yeah, no, now
now it's like,
I'm going to wake up, I want to sound like that guy.
right, and just be that guy. Just copy everything he does. Yeah.
That part.
So, including like coming from Cuba, going to Southgate, growing up in Southgate, what does Southgate represent for you now as a man, an artist, and also as like a pioneer in Latin hip hop, thinking that it came out of Southgate? Can we say that? Can we say Latin hip hop? Because we call you the Godfather.
We definitely can. I mean, look, let's be frank. New York has a way of bragging about they started every aspect and facet of hip hop.
And maybe that's the New Yorker in me that wants to be like, can we say Latin hip hop came out of Southgate?
I've said it in front of my own legends, people that came before me, and I've told them right to their face, like, y'all have a way of acting like y'all did everything first.
Right.
But when it came to blowing up this Latino aspect of it,
can we say
in Spanish rapping, we did that.
Okay. So that
we did
it
that.
is.
West Coast did that.
Yeah.
And nobody can refute that.
No.
And I think everybody's okay with that now.
Yeah. Like, for real. Because I feel like there's something about us taking claim.
Yeah. No,
you know what I mean?
And you should, as you should, because it was Mr. Schick on the record that I heard, and he's Puerto Rican.
Right, but I'm saying...
But to blow it up...
I'm saying
really,
as Afro-Latinos, as a whole.
To bring it to the forefront, worldwide, so universal...
We can say Latino hip-hop came from Southgate. Mellow Man Ace with Mentirosa was really the one that did it. Because again, like I said, I'm like, who's this Puerto Rican guy from the Bronx? That's it. That's my initial thought.
People were,
right?
Everybody's clamoring to understand what's going on.
What's going on?
It was that important. It was that important. We reinvented the bread with that,
You did, because at the time it was only General, really. Yeah. Really, kind of.
And he was doing a reggaeton style.
And more
of a reggae dance hall thing, which was clever. I loved it. I got to tour with him and stuff like that. So this was more, well, you know how they say that hip hop and most musics are demographical. So according to where that artist came up, that's the flavor that it will have. Right. And so me growing up in Southgate, East LA, basically, we had that Carlos Santana sample on the East LA sound. You know what I mean? But I was able to trick the Cuban verbiage on top of that with a little bit of Mexican verbiage that they understood.
Yeah.
And be, not just flexible, versatile, but multicultural at the same time.
I think it was that Santana feel, that guitar feel it just felt like Latin music.
Yeah, no,
it was just Latin music. So to hearing it, I just remember being like, oh, that's just Latin music. I didn't think East West, where's that from? It just sounded like Latin music.
Word up.
So it just translated that way. It translated easy. It wasn't, which is great. So, pioneer of Latin hip hop from Southgate, California. That's what we're saying here, and that's what we're gonna claim.
Yeah.
And so.
Hey, fuck what they saying. We saying this.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just gotta claim it.
Sometimes you just gotta throw it out there.
And
I've been very humble through the years and very quiet sometimes, and I just watch the sideshow. But here we are, and we're able to tell our story, and it's a beautiful thing. So.
Yeah, it is a beautiful thing. It's a great thing. And that's, again, my next, we're a little bit ahead of it. It's like, do you feel overlooked or misunderstood at times from other artists that are now coming up and stuff, right? Because even if we're going to talk about the Super Bowl performance, there were so many things that, oh yeah, the girl at the nail salon, oh yeah, the cocos, of course. When you go to the Caribbean, that's the first thing off the side of the road is you buy a coconut. Right. You know what I mean? To drink. Because you're like, this is the freshest water you'll ever have, right?
I'm glad I know where this is going.
You do?
Go ahead, finish.
No, I was just going to say, it's like.
Well, it would have been nice. Well, then I'll say it.
Yeah.
I loved seeing Ricky Martin there. I wouldn't have minded at all if Bad Bunny would have came and got me and say, "This the first nigga that did it." You know what I mean? Like, wow, then we do a little
Right.
whatever.
Well, I had said in another video, I said Tito Puente Jr.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? I love Ricky Martin. My first concert was Menudo. Like my first
Crazy work
with Ricky Martin when he was first in the band. Like I was like, this is what I want for my birthday. And I saw him at Radio City Music Hall.
Girl, you don't look
singing.
old enough to witness
Exactly.
Ricky Martin.
See, you get it.
I'm saying though.
But and I Súbete a mi moto, Súbete a mi moto with Robbie Rosa. Like that was my first concert. I was a baby. I was a kid. But and then so seeing him is like I grew up with Ricky Martin, so I get it. You know, like well deserved. But yes, someone like yourself, someone like Tito Puente Jr. Yeah. Just because
all of us.
You guys are literally carrying the legacies. Like you're still carrying those legacies.
And
you know
having
what I
a
mean?
good time doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So where do we take this legacy now next? Where do we go next? What are you doing next? Are we going to get more music? Are we going to get you more online? What are we doing?
Well, I think the beauty of Mellow Man Ace is the ability, I have the ability to reinvent myself every 5 years or whatever. And right now I'm in one of those places where I'm shedding, you know what I mean, something old, growing a new skin. So with that said, shout out to my new band, Crooked Trees.
Nice.
We're more in the genre of the Sublimes,
Ooh.
the Slightly Stupids, where we blend, Afro rhythms with Jamaican rhythms with hip hop, rap,
Nice.
rock, and we've even added a DJ element to it.
Kind of like ska-ish.
And we're doing really well with that. It has me very excited, and just happy to still be able to be creative. That's Crooked Trees, KROOKED TREEZ.
Nice.
Check us out online and the stuff that we're doing there. We're doing amazing stuff. I mean, we just opened up for Julia Marley.
Nice.
And the great Marley family, and there's so many beautiful things that we're coming with now, and doing more of a conscious music. There's so much negative around us when you turn on whatever radio station. So we bring in. I like to say this: if you ever wondered what happened to conscious hip hop, it didn't go anywhere. It just transitioned over to that realm and that genre, because what some of those bands are doing, like Fortunate Youth, Tomorrow's Bad Seeds, Pepper, people like these groups are. You may not know who they are, but if you do, and you've gone to see their concerts, and you see like there's 20,000 people in an open area, you'll understand the consciousness and the level of consciousness that's coming out of the vibration that they're coming with. I think that's where it went. So if you're looking for that conscious hip hop and you don't find it anywhere, just go over here. Yeah. Because we're definitely trying to add on to what they're doing and bring a new flavor. Aside from that, we just finished, of course, the all-new Cypress Hill Spanish album. My single that I'm on will be the second single.
Is this with
a video? It's official.
It's official.
Like a referee with a whistle. Yo, no, the first single's getting ready to come out now. I'll be the second single with my brother.
Wait, are all the guys singing rapping in Spanish?
Yeah, it's the first time the three of us get back together since we did Lowrider 20 years ago. So I'm proud of that. I'm real happy about that.
Has this been announced anywhere else?
It's been sprinkled, but they coming with the full court press and everything real soon, the next day or two.
So I can release this like now,
absolutely,
and it'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna be the first one.
Yeah,
because us New Yorkers, we gotta say we first.
Yeah,
at everything.
Yeah, you're the first. Y'all did everything first, no doubt.
Y'all say we gotta do everything first.
You wasn't there, B.
Yeah, exactly. So, what?
Yes. So we got the Cypress Hill Spanish.
Can you say who else is on the album? Is it just? Are you? Well,
since they already said this on our on the podcast with Be Real.
Okay.
Sick Jack of Psycho Realm. That's all I can say because.
Damn. I want more.
They've already said it.
Okay, because they said it. Okay,
Right,
well,
so-
fine. Well, what's the official release date of that? Is there an official release date of that?
You'd have to look, maybe you can look it up online.
Yeah.
And
Cypress Hill
yeah,
Latin album.
I'm not sure when the
Ooh.
first. They just shot the video
Cypress.
last week, so it
Cypress
can't
Hill. So it's got to be soon.
be. Yeah.
Cypress Hill.
Cypress.
Yes. Album release date.
Spanish
2026? Spanish album.
Yeah. But back to me and you while she's looking at
While
that.
she's looking that up.
I'll
right.
keep going.
Yes.
Also, still working on my Legends project. As
Okay.
we do that, we drop singles and videos at the time as we go. Because there's
With
just so
Crooked
many
Trees, are you
records.
dropping?
No, with Crooked Trees,
It's just the tour.
no. It's not just a tour.
Like the original one?
The original Cypress Hill, no, Spanish album for 2026.
Oh.
Release date.
Yeah, for Crooked Trees, we're on the road now.
Okay.
So our next show will be at Sea Legs in Huntington Beach.
Nice.
I believe that's March 29th.
Okay.
Like I said, we just did the jam with Julie and Marty.
Nice.
Um,
April 27, 2026, Cypress Hill drops a Spanish album.
that part.
I am hopping. I can't. What?
Yeah. So let me get back to
Sorry.
So yeah.
Okay.
And now we're in the studio. We're getting our next single, Crooked Trees, ready. It's called Loved Ones.
Okay.
For anybody who's ever loved and lost somebody, this one's for you, definitely.
Okay.
Dope Jamaican beat, and we're just really going on it. Me and my brother O Brown. And then we're already working on 2 singles later after that. So
there's new music coming all this year. Is that all this year?
Music, shows, the entire shebang.
But
like
all those
we
songs are
stay
gonna drop.
busy. Like,
but are all
busy.
those songs dropping this year?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
So we're gonna have
and you'll see this running around. I mean, from group to different group and different ideas. I still do my Mellow Man Ace dates,
Right.
in and amongst all these other things. So,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I'm just like, yes. More of it.
Yeah.
More of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
March 9th, catch me in Camarillo at the El Rey over there as Mellow Man Ace. And
Okay.
then on the 29th, catch me as Crooked Trees at
And Huntington
Sea
Beach.
Legs in Huntington Beach.
I might have to come to the
And
Huntington
then
Beach
we
one,
go
for
to
sure.
Arizona.
Nice.
And we just start moving all over the place. from
Nice. So you're it's like mini tour, kind of West Coast tour, kind of.
there. Right.
Nice,
right.
and then spread out from there. Now, there's something I ask my guests every time I have an episode, which is, in life, we go uphill, downhill. Sometimes we plateau, or sometimes we just come at a crossroads,
Yeah.
and we don't know which way to go. What advice would you give somebody coming up, somebody that wants to do music, produce, whatever it is, create something new, right? They were inspired by you, maybe want to do something that you've talked about. What would you say is the most important thing for people to stay in a race of their own?
That's a great question. I mean, and the older I get, the more I become better at answering that question. And I would say this, that look, no matter what you get into, if you love the creative endeavors and entertainment, find out what you're getting yourself into. We've had some horror stories here of late of people who have abused of their authorities and the power that they have gotten. So I've witnessed some of these things myself, which is why I backed out many years ago and disappeared, kept my mouth shut like a true G. But I think now people are able to see the horrors that lay or may lay within artistic endeavors, and you have to just make sure that you keep your soul intact and learn to walk away, learn to duck when things jeopardize your integrity, when things may jeopardize your well-being. Learn to go back home, because it ain't so bad. The other part of it, the second part of that is, remember that there's not always going to be. It's not about music videos and popping bottles at the strip club. There's days that are very ugly, that could be very ugly. There's days that you may want to quit, feel very alone within it, and then there's days that you're riding on top of the mountain and nobody can stop you. But I think it's the days that test you are the ones that, when you feel really alone, even though when you're at the top, you could be very alone there. I've been there, and you look around and it's like you don't recognize anybody. So just know what you're getting yourself into, and never ever allow anybody to tell you can't accomplish something. Think big, because you're probably going to get it. Think big, but make sure you think big and remember how to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, that's great. You know, and there's something that you said from Celia's day that you said, you know, also don't let people say, you know, if they say you can't, say you already did.
that part.
You know, I think that that's, you know, it's big for people that look like you and talk like you and have the experience that you, that resonate with you. It's so important for them to hear that over and over again, because we have seen and we see examples left and right today of the abuse of power and what that looks like, and the perceived power, because it's not real power.
Facts.
It's perceived.
Facts.
Real power, true power, from what I hear you say, is like self-love within, having those people around you that love you, that want to see you win, that want to see you grow, and elevate you in that sense, right?
Yeah,
And we're all going to have,
definitely.
even with that, sometimes we have those
Yeah,
bad days.
I mean, look,
It's normal.
Don't be scared to clear out your entire team if need be. Remember, never to entertain anything that doesn't uplift you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, make sure your people are uplifting you,
Mm-hmm.
and understand that you are the reason they're around. You know what I mean? And make the thing happen. Don't entertain small talk and mindlessness because you stay small talk and mindless yourself. You know what I mean? Hang out with millionaires if you can. Hang out with people that have obtained something, have done something, accomplished something. These are all part of that. You know,
Mhm.
it's all part of it.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Mellow Man. I so appreciate you taking the time, sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, this history that
Very
is so
welcome.
needed, you know, today more than ever. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, and I'm
My
Virgie
pleasure.
Rodriguez. I'm Virgie Rodriguez with Mellow Man Ace here on A Race of Your Own. Remember to subscribe, ask us some questions, leave them in the comments, whatever. Just let us know what you feel. You want to hear more about Mellow Man? Check him out, Crooked Trees, and check him out on online as well at Instagram too. So see you soon. Peace.